First Flight Out is a new series of travel guides and films by ST's correspondents, and that's our first live pick for this week. Thailand correspondent Tan Tam Mei joins us from Bangkok. Tam Mei, talk us through the video you made. Give us a sense of what has changed or hasn't changed in Bangkok and what travelers need to know for their trip.
Yeah, I think you can expect the same shopping and food experience that Bangkok's famous for, because the malls and Siam Street are still open, so don't worry. But of course, there's a number of shops that have closed, and when you're at Chatuchak, you can see quite clearly that there are quite a few merchants didn't survive the pandemic. But I guess that's what we see everywhere in the tourism industry, and it's really only a matter of time before things get better, I hope. And for some of the recommendations that we gave, that actually, for example, Jot Fest is actually considered a rebirth of the famous Ratchada train night market that a lot of people were upset over when it closed. So this new night market, Jot Fest, opened last year, and it's basically the same vendors, but in a new and even more Instagrammable space. You've got your vintage cars, fairy lights, lots of food, and you can even do your nails at some of the booths. And I think for guys, when they go to this market, they'll be quite surprised to find a lot of guys' clothes, accessories, which used to be quite rare. So I think that's something they can look forward to. And I think coming to Bangkok, one of the hidden gems that I really enjoyed in introducing to people in the video is actually Bang Krachao. It's actually not new, but only locals really knew about it. They go cycling there, they go there to enjoy greenery. And I think for lots of tourists, it's something a bit more local and it's worth a short day trip. This island is just about 5 minutes away from Bangkok City. And, it's a place where it used to have a lot of ethnic people and it's largely undeveloped. So actually you can still see nature and really see the culture of that particular district. So as with all pandemic travel, things change. But right now you need a Thailand pass to enter Thailand. So that's like approval to come into Bangkok. And you also need to do a entry PCR test when you land. And you have to go and wait in a hotel overnight on your first day to wait for the results. But we heard that things might change in the next few weeks. So do keep a lookout for the announcements. All these measures that I just mentioned could actually be gone in the next few weeks. There's a lot of pressure on the Thai government to ease entry because countries around like actually Singapore or even regional neighbors are actually easing out all the restrictions. So I think Thailand is also quite pressured to do it. So hopefully soon it could be easier to enter Thailand. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the sharing, Thailand correspondent Tan Tam Mei. Now, whether it's breakfast or lunch, you can never go wrong with this hawker stall. STFood online editor Hedy Khoo has paid a visit to Heavens at Ghim Moh. Tell us, did you have the appam or thosai?
I had both and more than just that because they have a few variations. So the top pick is the Royal Thosai, which is their signature dish. It's $5 for a really gigantic looking thosai. And although it's $5, you're going to be so full and satisfied after eating this, you don't have to eat anything else. So I suggest you go with a friend so that you can share a couple of dishes so that you can have a taste of all the others, the other types of dishes that the stall has to offer, which is mainly thosai and appam. And these are made from scratch in-house, and they are really, really hardcore about this. They grind their own black lentils, their own pony rice, and then they ferment the batter for 8 hours. And for the appam, there's coconut milk added to it, and they are so finicky that everything has to be so fresh. Right down to the chutneys, they make it on their own. So for the Royal Thosai, it's got this filling of crunchy red onion, tender masala potato, melted cheddar cheese, and butter. Really, really satisfying to bite into. And what really impressed me is that, it stays crispy even though I was taking my time taking pictures of it. But yeah, so impressive. And another thing to try is the Princess Appam, which is $3.50 a piece. It also comes with melted butter and melted cheddar cheese. But what I really like is the plain appam. So you can get it for I think it's 2 pieces for $3. And while a lot of people usually think of appam, including myself, I used to, just think of it as you have to eat it with the red sugar and the fresh grated coconut. But at this stall, they recommended that I try it with their savory chutneys. So the red tomato and chili chutney, it packs quite a spicy kick, and the coconut chutney is so well textured from the use of fresh coconut, grated coconut, and it goes so well with the plain appam. Although I must say that both the thosai and the appam, for the plain versions, they already taste so good on their own. You can eat it. Try a bite without the chutneys or without the sugar and the coconut, and then try it with the chutneys and the coconut, and then you can see the difference for yourself. Really worth going down to Gimo, even if you don't live anywhere around there.
I will definitely try it because I'm a fan of thosai. Well, thank you so much, Hedy, STFood online editor, Hedy Khoo. Now, how about something fun you could do over the weekend? Arts correspondent Arthur Sim is here to give us a sneak peek of his video that will premiere on Sunday. Arthur, you've explored works of art all around Singapore. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, Singapore has a lot of sculptures by very famous artists, and some of them are actually worth millions. So I went to look for the top 10, and at Millennium Singapore, there are 6 sculptures by the American artist Roy Lichtenstein, and he's famous for painting the comic book style illustrations, and the sculptures are in the same style. But what's interesting is that he also designed the landscape elements, and that makes the space that the sculptures are in really integrated with the architecture. Another interesting discovery is on the rooftop of Orchard Central. It's an installation by the Japanese artist Yayoi Kusama, and she's sometimes known as the polka dot princess because she likes to put polka dots on everything. So here she created a fantasy garden on the rooftop, and it is a little bit surreal to go up there to see this, but I think it works because Kusama's work is also a bit surreal. And then there's Henry Moore. I'm always in awe of his work when I walk past OCBC Center. He's really one of the masters of modern art, and it's almost like having a Picasso on your sidewalk. And this work, the large reclining figure, is probably the most valuable work of public art that we have. So really, there's quite a lot to see. If you want to see all 10 of them, you can look me up on straighttimes.com this weekend. You can also find out how much the artworks might be worth.
Well, Arthur, looks like I've got my weekend sorted. Well, thank you so much. And that was arts correspondent Arthur Sim. Now, whether it's sun, sea or snow, if you're having a hard time deciding on where to go for your next holiday, make sure you check out our new handy travel planner. It's quick and easy to use. Passport, check. Bag, check. Hair, check. But wait a minute, my other travel documents! Hold up. With borders opening up around the world, travellers now have many more holiday options. But travel as we know it is not quite how it was before the pandemic. Different places, different rules and requirements. And so, if you're still unsure of the details, don't worry, we've got you covered. Let's check out ST's new travel planner to find out what the entry requirements are for your next destination. You can also find information on the current COVID-19 restrictions for the particular place you are going to, like whether you need to wear a mask indoors or outdoors, and so on. As for me, I'm planning to go to Thailand. Apart from being fully vaccinated, I have to take an on-arrival PCR test and I must stay in the hotel room until the negative result is confirmed. On top of that, I will have to take an ART test on day 5 and record the result on Thailand's contact tracing app. Face masks are still compulsory indoors like Singapore, but unlike Singapore, nightclubs there are still closed. If you're still undecided on where to go, you could use ST's travel planner to check out the country which has the least restrictions. That way, you don't have to worry about administrative hassles. Looks like the UK is a good option. Currently, there are no entry requirements like quarantine or testing. And while face masks are recommended in crowded or enclosed spaces, everything else is pretty much business as usual. Wherever your holiday destination may be, this planner will come in handy for your travel preparations.